Hey guys, welcome back to the F123 My Team Save here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. You join us in Japan at Suzuka, where it is bright and sunny throughout all weekend. So we're very, very happy with that. We're also pleased with the progression of the car, and we're very nearly at that 900 performance index level at the moment. Unfortunately, as you can just see there next to here, 22nd in Singapore last time out. That was a DNF, pal, not a 22nd. So, unfortunately, we did not pick up any points at the last round, meaning I'm now no longer top of the championship anymore. We've bibbed and bobbed with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell this season. I was significantly ahead by about 12 and or 17 points. I'm now 5 points behind and 2 points ahead. Max Verstappen is still quite a way behind, but Pierre is working his way back up. And I mentioned at the end of the last episode that I was contemplating with regards to the driver contracts for Season 3, whether to sign Charles Leclerc or Ayrton Senna. But you guys have had your voice be heard. And with the most recent results for Pierre Gasly, from basically Austria onwards, third, unfortunate DNF, second, fifth, third, and now a win, Pierre Gasly is fighting hard for his spot at the team next season. That seat, at the moment, for you guys, is staying with him. I may put it to a vote at the end of the season, depending on how Pierre's season ends. And you guys can choose. Depends on our financial situation as well, of course. But Pierre Gasly is certainly the favourite with the viewing audience. So, unfortunately, we're now 3 gearboxes down. Soon to be basically 4 gearboxes down. And I'm probably going to have to take another gearbox pen between now and the end of the season. Thankfully, control electronics is fine. Turbos are fine. We're all right on the energy store. We're fine everywhere else, really, actually, to be completely honest. We'll be absolutely all right. So, we'll jump to practice here in Japan. Try and get some resource points. We're contemplating just saving those now. Waiting for the regulation changes. And then we can hopefully adapt to those really well like we did last year. And have that jump in performance again like we did at the beginning of this season. Right, to sunny Suzuka we head first though, and let's see if we can get some good resource points. Right, next session, quick practice, in and out, sharp as you like, and get those resource points, boys. Should be about 1,600 or so again, which will take us just over... Oh, Pierre only got 460, okay. Come on, Pierre, pull your weight, son. 3,400 minus 1, basically. So we're getting there. Some discounts for the... My brain is saying the development. Reliability department. What's it? My brain has just absolutely died. Durability. I could not think of that bloody word. Right. Weather is perfectly dry. Nothing more than 11% chance of rain all weekend from here on out. Fresh bits in the car. Compared to the Quali Sim practice program, I was nowhere. But we still topped the session. So I'm expecting a top 5 in Quali. Well, rephrase, I'm considering the way the past few have gone. I'm hoping for a top 5 in Quali, but we'll wait and see how it goes. We should be comfortably through to Q3, though, I would have thought. But that should be comfortably top 10, and it is, and there's definitely time in that. Absolutely time in that lap. So, unless they radically improve throughout the rest of the session with the second run, I'm relatively happy with that. 26.4. Has me a couple of tenths off my teammate. I've got a couple of tenths in that lap for sure. So, I'm satisfied with run number 1. Andy, thank you for the 5th month subscribed, mate. Very good of you. Oh no, we might just be into the 25s with that. 25,957. Probably top 3? Third. Third will do if we can replicate that again in Q3, but we will have to go again. Need to find 2 seconds on the Delta, basically. And that might be... Oh my god! George has put in a 24. Never mind, I need to find 3 seconds on the Delta. Where has a 24.9 come from? He's just raised the bar by a second from Q2. I'm still in the 26s at this rate. A 24! Mother humper! Well, it's a 25.5, I think. Just P4. This is my fastest lap of the weekend. I did have a sloppy first sector, but wow. I certainly did not expect George to be into the 24s. 24.9. I'm a full half second off the front two. Not even off the front two. Just half a second off George. He's got 3.5 tenths on second place. Alright. Race strategy is going to be very important here. And we've got Max Verstappen thrown in there as a curveball as well. Pierre's only able to put in a 25.5 as well. So clearly, our car doesn't quite have it around Suzuka in terms of matching the Mercedes in quali spec. But in race spec, can we strategically work our way to the front the same way that Pierre did in Singapore? I hope so. Now's when both Mercedes drivers have had to take a penalty. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright. Now's when Max Verstappen had to take a penalty. And we start P3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here's Max Verstappen. Okay. Well, the fastest 3 teams in the first 6 spots. Norris does very well in that McLaren every week. Liam Lawson really underperforming. Carlos Sainz and Leclerc. Well, to be fair, the Ferrari's just rubbish. Ferrari as a team have underdeveloped in this save, and it's very surprising. Particularly surprising, actually, to see Ferrari fall so far off the pace. Strategy-wise, like I say, I'm thinking medium-hard or hard-medium, and there is a lot of hard runners around here. Some softs at the back, but I think it's going to be a hard, medium, one stop probably. Unless there's a safety car, we can then maybe go medium, medium, soft from there. But George on mediums at the front clearly trusts his race pace to just disappear into the distance. Whether he's going to do a medium soft, I don't know. Looks like he might well from that. Please. Hey! It hasn't turned everything off. You'll love to see it. Okay, let's 2-stop. Curveball time. We're going to be, hopefully, faster than some of the others around us at the beginning. We'll try and stick with George. He'll probably 1-stop, but we'll give it a go. A 2-stop. Curveball strategy time. Will it work? Right, hoping that me and George, or George and I, can disappear here. I want a good start. I kind of need a good start. 0.6 metres is okay. And with turn 1 being quite quick before breaking into 2, you're going to have to make sure that you're in a good position. Because it's an unorthodox, unusual first couple of corners at Suzuka when starting the Grand Prix. But on the medium tyre, I'm hoping for a good start, and we have had one. And I'm going to go for that gap. Oh, I was going to go for that gap. And then my rear tyres decided that they didn't want anything to do with it. Up the inside of Verstappen at least. Woo-wee! Well, we could have had Lewis. I most certainly didn't have Lewis. I nearly had Max inside my car. Counter strategy to the majority of those around us. What we need to do really is stick with George. Or try and not let George get away. Just running the softer tyre. I really need to be able to keep pace with those around me. But based on the qualifying times, I am not in their ballpark, the 2 Mercedes. So hopefully DRS and ERS can keep me competitive. I think it's just yellow flags behind because everyone's going so slowly around the hairpin. I don't think there's genuinely been an accident or anything. That was awful. Try and take spin 2 a bit better and fail miserably there too. But never mind, we've got a bit of ERS. We'll keep up with those in front. Don't let George get away is the plan. If George is kept under wraps or within reaching distance, then the 2-stop could work. I presume George is going medium soft. I'll ask about those around us, but I'm pretty sure they're 1-stopping. I'm almost certain they're 1-stopping. I know it's Hamilton ahead. Tell me about his... Yeah, tell me about his... There we go, thank you.
Okay, they're on fresh hards. Their tyres are just 1 lap old.
Are they 1 lap old? 1 more stop. Yeah, everybody's going to be 1-stopping. And those hard tyres are not it around this first sector. That's for sure. Alright, I need to get past Hamilton. We need to get past Lewis if we're to stand a chance of sticking with George.
use your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some
Oh,
of this
don't
energy.
worry. We're
Come
going to
on.
utilise as much energy as we can. Just want to use it in the right spot, that's all. Oh, I could definitely, provided I can get the 2 spoon curves right, we could definitely take Lewis into 130R. Spoon 1 done very well. Oh, and Lewis had a bit of a snap on exit, but so did I. Here comes that battery. Is he going to go defensive into 130R? No. I'll just ease on the throttle a little bit. And we might go up the inside at the chicane. We will. Use the extra grip of the medium tyre. Nip into the apex. And that is P2. It's vital. That was race critical. Now then, I need to get within DRS range of George as soon as I bloody well can. Otherwise, he's gone. And the win is comfortably his.
1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Let's go get George. Because they're trying to only do a 1-stop, they're going to be tyre saving quite a bit throughout basically the whole race. I am going full chat the whole time, using the best of my tyre at every possible moment. So hopefully we will be able to catch George, but I'll have to not lose traction on exit of the hairpin if I'm to do that. Just double check that George is on a 1-stop as well.
That's Russell just ahead. Push for the position. Okay, gaps of the car ahead is...
Pretty sure he's medium softing, whereas the others are hard mediuming.
Their tyres are 2 laps old. Okay, we think they've got 2 stops
Oh!
remaining. 2 stops remaining.
George is 2-stopping. My guy. All right, let's go then. It's a straight 2-stop fight between me and George Russell. It's a straight fastest lap fight between me and George Russell. Game on, sunshine. Let's go. This is intriguing then. I thought he was medium softing. He's not. George does not have faith in his tyre wear either. And we're gapping those behind as we need to if we're both to do an extra stop. This just got tasty. Gasly and Verstappen having a bit of a ding-dong. That's Gasly past Verstappen. Go on, Pierre! Tell you what, as tyres are starting to go, we are closing on George. Had a quick look up at the delta there and brushed the grass and cost myself 2/10. But we were closing on George. The gap to Pierre has actually stayed about the same at 3 seconds. So I think the Mercedes are actually losing a little bit of time here, whereas Pierre is kind of keeping pace. Verstappen has dropped off. Pierre is right with Lewis, I've just noticed. That might be why Lewis is losing time, actually. If he's battling with Pierre, then that's only, again, falling into our hands. You presume with Pierre starting on the hards, he too is also on a 1-stop, similar to Lewis. So at the minute, they're kind of battling out for the 1-stop win, and George and I are battling out for the 2-stop win. But that gap to George is coming down. It was almost up as high as 3 seconds. It's now considerably enough. Under 2. Max has got a train behind him. I don't know whether Max is carrying any damage, or the Red Bull just isn't that quick. But Max Verstappen has got a big train behind him now. And Gasly is past Lewis. Don't rule Pierre Gasly out from another win today. He genuinely might be really on it. And before Gasly has an end to the season, like George had last year, where he picks up win after win after win. It'd be great for me if I can finish second behind him every time. But being able to finish ahead of these Mercedes is proving rather damned difficult of late, isn't it? Gap to George is stabilised now at about 2 seconds. But you can see with those battling behind, the gap is opening up, which is only really playing into both mine and George's hands with our 2-stop strategy. Everybody else fighting is doing us the world of good. We are at some point going to have to come through loads of traffic. We have to hope that we're fast enough when that moment comes to do that. But the longer the gaps increase, the happier we are. George is starting to eke a gap out on me again, so time to shut up and start driving again. Another 8.5 laps before we get off this set of mediums and put on another set. I may because there's only a couple of tenths between the compounds on paper. I made it a lap or two early and whack on the hard tyre. I'd be sorely tempted to anyway. Pierre's closing. Pierre is definitely closing. Thing is, by pitting earlier than the majority of other people, we are going to come out in traffic. 18th at the minute. What I'd love it to say is that we'd come out in front of Carlos Sainz. But they're all in a train. So Hauger is currently where we come out, the second of the two Aston Martins. But what I'd love to do is get a gap big enough so that I can come out in front of Carlos Sainz and nail it from there. Especially with these guys on mediums as well, who will probably be pitting soon. Although, to be fair, a number of these guys are going to pit not too long after we do, because they're all on softer compound tyres as well. One mistake on the exit of 2 cost me all the way through turns 3, 4, 5, 6. Safety car deployed. Why? What do I do? Oh.
Understood. Copy that.
They genuinely want me to stop. Okay. Why is there a safety car? I think a Haas has spun at the back. Maybe he's spun in his Haas. He's getting back up and running though. But the safety car's come out. We're gonna box for a set of hards then. I think Pierre, I imagine, will continue. I think all of those hard runners will continue. We'll go to hards next. I expect George may well do the same. Those hards could take us to the end. They won't take us to the end. We will still pit for another set of tyres, but we might be able to maybe go to mediums at the end of the race rather than softs and be okay. Gasly continues. Everyone else, I presume, I'm surprised that Russell hasn't pit, to be honest. Some behind pitting. Perez was in the pits. We are going to come out in front of the Ferrari, please. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get me out in front of the Ferrari, no. Okay, it's not as bad as it could have been. And I have come out in front of one Ferrari. So we've only got 2 cars in front of us to try and shift. Although, to be fair, we only really wanted to come out of that in front of the Ferrari because of the gaps. And those gaps are now gone because of the safety car, but we should have pace on both De Vries and Sainz enough to be able to get past them both without any real problem. Okay, so our strategy is now completely offset to George's. No idea what George is going to continue to do. A number of drivers behind have stopped. So I've gone medium to hard. Perez actually has gone hard to medium. He's gone the other way. Albon has stopped. Albon, Hauger and Logan Sargent have gone soft medium, and Stroll has gone medium soft. Okay. Alright. Let's see how it plans out from here then, post safety car. We'll probably have at least another 2 laps behind the safety car, I'd have thought. At least another 1. We won't be racing again until lap 16 at the earliest. So P11 just outside the points at the moment. We will be... Oh, some more stoppers. Some more stoppers. A Ferrari... So Leclerc has pit from behind me, and so was a Haas. Presumably Kevin Magnussen, who spun. Let's double check. So they've changed strategy a lap later. It was Kevin Magnussen who's gone medium-medium. Charles Leclerc has also gone medium-medium. But he's now running P21, having stopped a lap later than 4 or 5 others that stopped from behind him a lap sooner. So he's cost himself a number of positions there. Ferrari doing a Ferrari, I think. Charles Leclerc is not, barring dramatic circumstances, going to have a good end result here. I think he's knackered himself there. Or Ferrari have knackered him, whichever way around you want to look at it. Prepare to go. We are going to be going very soon. And we're off. And we're off. Come on then. Oh. Oh! What? I was like, oh. In the pits, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton and Lando and Piastri and Bottas and Zhou Guanyu and Tsunoda. We may have just been handed a 1-2. With Mercedes pitting right on the back of the safety car. inexplicably needs a workaround. That's got to be some sort of bug. They're just going to go straight to the back and be miles behind the entire pack. Unless they're going to the end from there. And even if they do, they've got a lot of work to do and are going to get caught up in loads of traffic. We're up to P6. We may well have a Chesnoid Racing 1-2 here in Japan now. Provided I can have pace on these hard tyres. I'll get him into this chicane. I'll get him into this chicane. Zero in defensive. No. Oh, he only just timed that right. And he's held on a bit here, Nick. He's tried to hold it. Oh! I nearly lost everything from the knee down then. I want to see just how close that was. Oh, in the end, it was a very good switchback. You're like, nope. But that is as close as you get. Rear tyre to front wing without contact. Oh! In the end, it looks spectacular. I wonder, how does it look off-board? Dip. Yeah, that looks very good. But it was particularly lucky. Right, operation... Oh, Ocon's in the pits. Banging. We're up to 4th. Operation Hunt, Carlos Sainz and Liam Lawson. It's nice to have grip back again as well. After those really worn mediums. I still think we stop again from here. Even though the team have told me I can take these to the end. I think we all know that I won't be able to. And not still remain even remotely close to competitive on pace. So I will stop again, but we will have to make a decision at some point. And it will depend on gaps and distances elsewhere as to whether we stop again for mediums or whether we stop again for softs. Perez is past De Vries. I'm very soon going to be past Carlos Sainz as well, but I might need to do it in the same manner we took Nick De Vries. I'll try and get a better exit at Spoon 2 this time. Try and get him into 130R. Just like that. There you go. Boss. Sainz had a bit of a wobble. Checo might get him too. Can I slipstream Liam Lawson? I'm not going to be close enough for this game. Oh, they are arriving behind me side by side through 130R. Sergio Perez is also on a move. I don't think Sergio pit, did he? Is he just that fast? Is he just that fast on those medium tyres? No, he did pit. Sergio's on fresh mediums. That's why he's quit then. Of course, no DRS. I just went to put DRS on. I didn't have any. It's now enabled. 2 laps after the safety car, similar to a race start. Don't know where Liam's going to brake here. So, oh, he's going to lock up and go wide. Thank you, Liam. That was very generous. Cheers, then. Now, Pierre is going to be catchable because he's going to be on worn hards. But Sergio Perez is going to be very interested in overtaking me for the entirety of this next stint, I think. I want to have a look at Liam. I want to have a look at Liam Lawson there. Oh, I've waited too long. That was perfect. He was like, through you go, sir. Don't need to ask me twice. We are honing in on Pierre really, really, really quickly. 3.3 seconds now. And I've just been able to get Perez out of DRS range, provided I can get the chicane right. Force myself a little bit deeper on the brakes here, just in case. He was able to get within a second of me through the braking zone, and now I've got the whole next lap to be able to open the gap again. Bit of a risk, but a risk worth taking to ensure that Perez didn't get DRS down the main straight, and now we'll open that gap again, hopefully. And the gap to Pierre is still coming down. Should be fastest lap of the race, maybe. Yep, 1:28.643. We are the quickest man on track right now. Gap to Pierre 1.2 will be under a second by the time we get around to that DRS zone again. In fact, we might even be past him by the time we get to the main straight again. So slow is he at the minute through this first sector. Gaps behind are growing profusely. We should have the opportunity, I pray, to stop once more. Ooh, concentrate. To stop once more. To protect from any extensive tyre wear and still be able to comfortably finish first or second, provided, of course, I concentrate and I don't make mistakes like that again, because I very nearly binned it then. Right, Pierre, well, he's out of position there. Do I? No, I've got to be careful. I could call team... Well, if it were F1 Manager, I'd call team orders and get Pierre to just simply... Well, I would have asked for Pierre to let me through into turn 1 or down the straight, considering how close we were to the back of him. He was reluctant, but that's fine. As long as we don't lose too much time to Sergio. I'll ask, actually. I wonder if Sergio's doing another stop from here, or if he's trying to take those mediums to the end.
Our gap behind is 1.2 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Okay, their tyres are 7 laps old. We think they've got one more.
So he's going to have to stop again.
Last lap was a 1:29.7.
We should hopefully be able to get Pierre a similar way that we got Carlos. Have a wobble. Oh, we didn't. We should have the straight line speed with the ERS though to get him before 130R. Are you going to give me any room? Thank you. Jeez Louise. He wasn't gonna. Oh, I've gone storming in. Can I keep it on track? Yes. Just. Woo! Lick the stamp and send it, sunshine! P1! And DRS. Ah, sorry, Pierre. I've just made you vulnerable to Sergio. Yikes. Well, if you'd have let me through before with team orders, then you could have had that 1 second gap. But Pierre Gasly now down to P3. I let him through in Singapore last time out, and it ultimately ended with him winning the Grand Prix. If he'd have returned the favour, then... Well, actually, he's held the position. He's held the position, Pierre. GG's. I don't quite know how he did it. Must have forced Sergio wide somewhere. Or Sergio made a mistake. But Pierre is held on to P2, alright. As I was saying, I let him through in Singapore. He ultimately then won the Grand Prix as a result of that. Because if I'd have held him up, he wouldn't have caught Lewis. And by letting him through, I then held up George Russell even more, which defended Pierre from the back as well. So hopefully Pierre can do the same and defend for me against Perez. Gaps are just going to be huge soon. These fresh tyres. And Liam Lawson has been such a wonderful rear guard as well, look. On those really old now medium tyres. He's got no pace whatsoever, but people can't get past him. The Mercedeses are nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. George Russell 15th. Lewis Hamilton 19th. That safety car mix-up is going to almost return the favour from Singapore with my DNF. If they can't get into the points, if they can't get into the points, those two, then it's effectively a double DNF for Mercedes. In terms of the championship, it might as well be a double DNF if neither of them get in the points. Which would be huge for me. So, just as we thought in Singapore as the World Championship was going to get well away from us, it may well end up coming right back to us the very next weekend. Perez is through. Perez is through. Pierre with DRS might be able to get back at him. He has. Go on, Pierre! Lawson in the pits. Bollocks. There goes my rear gunner. My really rear gunner. So that frees up. Well, actually, Alex Albon's now fighting with Carlos Sainz. It doesn't necessarily free him up at all. Pierre has, unfortunately, lost out now to Sergio Perez, who may well close that gap to me now. Pierre may be able to get back to the podium, but it's me and Sergio for the dub at the moment. Carlos Sainz has lost out to Alex Albon and Dennis Hauger. And a Red Bull as well. Sainz must have made a massive mistake. Max Verstappen on his way back through. There's a huge strain behind Charles Leclerc right now. This has played so nicely into our hands. It's been the perfect follow-up. Thus far, of course, we could still get a retirement or another safety car. But to this point, it's been the perfect follow-up to the DNF in Singapore. The ultimate bounce back. Pierre's now in. There you go. Pierre in the pits on lap 27, which is basically half race distance. He will probably go to mediums because the softs probably would last. Albon's pitting too, so that'll save Pierre losing an extra position. He has gone to softs. I was going to say the softs probably would last, but they're really not going to have any pace in them at the end of the race. But fair play to him. If Pierre reckons he can be the tyre whisper and take those softs 26 laps, then go for it, my son. In a minute now, we have effectively nearly a full pit stop behind us to P3. Reckons I've come out 6th at the moment, which is behind the 2 Ferrari, which is absolutely fine by me on fresh tyres. Unless anything unexpected happens yet further, this is a shoe-in for a victory. And one of the easiest victories of our entire career. Checo's pitting early off those mediums. Checo pit from behind the safety car, so I thought he was going to take those mediums a little bit further. But he too is going to try and take those softs on a very, very, very long stint. He could have been a bit more thoughtful about that, a bit more methodical about it, and actually made the most of a full medium stint before putting the softs on, or at least a 3/4 medium stint. My hard tyres, to be fair, actually, I didn't realise my hard tyres were actually nearly at 25%. So his mediums will have been quite worn. I hadn't really noticed the drop-off in grip, if I'm completely honest. The tyres, these hard tyres, whoop, he says, these hard tyres have seemingly felt very, very good. They could go to the end. I'm not going to try and take them to the end. I will probably switch to a medium tyre about lap 35. And then try and see it home from there. Might have to make a couple of overtakes to do so. I might, in fact, just try and monitor gaps behind me. I might not need to pit again, but certainly my tyres are going to be very worn by the time we get to that point. So I think I probably am going to switch to a medium. I don't think these tyres will be anything under 70% by the time we get to the end from here with 25 in fact, full laps left to go. Now Verstappen and Leclerc are pitting as well, and Perez, who's just pit for those softs, is now back up again. So the fact that they're all going to softs means that I am going to have to stay out a little bit longer, because if I pit now, their soft tyres are going to be much quicker than me. I need to wait until their softs are past their best, so that I then put on fresh mediums that are better than their worn softs, and will then only get better in comparison to their worn softs throughout the rest of the race. I'll have an increasing tyre advantage for the rest of the Grand Prix once I pit off these hard tyres. And it should be, dare I say it, relatively straightforward to make those overtakes. But I think we will need to make some overtakes. I'll pit about lap 35 for a medium set. Maybe push a little bit longer if I dare, but might be a bad decision to go any further than we need to on this now already quite worn hard set. I need to use my battery more, and I will do that now. Gasly fastest lap of the race. Pierre's got some pace. Russell is now up to P4, but I don't know if he has to pit again. He might be able to take those mediums to the end. But, I mean, I doubt it. He pit just a lap later than Sergio Perez onto those mediums, but he's gone a couple of laps longer than Perez since Perez stopped. So George may well be trying to take those mediums all the way, which will be a hell of a stint, and he's going to be so slow at the end. I think the Mercedes must surely have to stop again. He's got Pierre Gasly right behind him now on fresh softs, so Pierre's surely going to make that move for P4 very soon, and I'm sure Hauger has to stop again. So at the minute, I think it's looking like a me, Perez, Gasly podium, but in what order, not sure. Sure Hauger has to pit again. If he doesn't, then he's going to get some great points. He won't get a podium, but he's going to get some great points. The gaps behind are very circumstantial, of course, with that safety car, and people not pitting when they should have. So we're not going to read too much into it and adjust the difficulty at all. This is a very one-off circumstantial Grand Prix that will gladly take the victory in. I want to know if Russell's going to make any more stops. Gasly's now past him. Oh, never mind. Hamilton's in. That will answer it. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell both pit within a lap of each other. And Lewis Hamilton is pit again now. So that says to me that George Russell will pit again as well. Probably on lap 30... Well, on this lap. Lap 31. Lewis pit on lap 30. George will probably pit lap 31. They'll both be out of the points again and have to work their way through to try and score some. The World Championship is going to take a heavy swing in our favour, provided nothing else dramatic happens between now and the end. But as we saw from Singapore, you never can say never, even with a relatively fresh part in the car. If it wants to go, it's going to go. Never take anything for granted in Formula 1. He's already passed. There you go. Gasly P3 again. We're on for a double Chesnoid Racing podium again. Although Dennis Hauger fights back, I'm sure he won't be able to keep Pierre at bay for long. And he does still have to pit again, so say ta-ta to that podium, Dennis. Those medium tyres will not last. Oh, there you go, he's in the pits. As we're talking about it, saying, oh, he still has to pit again. He's in the pits. George is still going on that medium set, though. Over 30% all round now. We said that Perez might well be under 20 seconds by the time we pit on lap 35. And, well, he's under 20 seconds by the time we're about to pit on lap 35. Sergio's in the groove. Pierre is closing as well. Says we'll come out third now. It's the safe thing to do to pit and try and come back through. I could try and stay out on these hards to the end, but I'd probably have no pace. I did that awfully. I did that awfully. Too busy talking, not thinking about what I'm doing. Perez and Gasly should overtake us, but we should relatively quickly see them off again.
Okay,
Really good pit stop. 2.3 seconds.
Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
Wah! Nearly binned it. Coming out the pits. There goes Sergio. And Pierre is still behind me. So we've kept P2. Now it's a case of our Pierre's tyres, our Gasly's, our Perez's tyres going to be fast enough for long enough to keep me at bay. I'll try and drag Pierre with me if I can. If I can drag Pierre with me with DRS and a slipstream and close him up on Sergio. He did stop. I don't know who stopped earlier. I think Pierre stopped earlier than Checo. I can ask about tyre length or tyre age on the driver behind and driver in front. Checo's tyres are 1 lap younger than Pierre's. I probably should have just let him go there and then we could kind of dovetail each other and catch up. I overtake him, he overtakes me, I overtake him, he overtakes me. I'll let him go. Go on then. Or, you know, just bottle it and don't overtake me. Come on, mate. Trying to do something here tactically. Fine, bollocks to you. If you've not got the balls to just go around the outside of me, then I'm just going to go and get Checo without you. Just don't let George pass you, for Christ's sake. What I could do now is try and back Perez up into Pierre. If Pierre's not got the balls or pace to come with me, then I'll just bring Perez to him. I'll like maybe purposefully force Sergio offline, slow him down without taking him, gather the gap behind, let Pierre come in. When I talk to camera, honestly, my driving just goes out the fucking window. That's why we use flashbacks. And then if I can get Pierre up to Checo, then he might stand a chance of getting P2. He also might not, but it's worth a go, isn't it? Right, sharpen drive, Ches. Go and get Sergio Perez. Okay. Hi, Checo. Go defensive, go defensive, go defensive. Thank you. Oh, I'm not coming. Oh, stay offline. Russell's in the bin. Russell's in the pits. Fantastic news. Where's George Russell going to come out of the pits? Gap to Pierre is 2.4. We really don't need to worry about Valtteri Bottas behind. So now I'm just going to try and slow Perez up as best I can. And then Pierre can hopefully close that gap. And just as Pierre gets to within DRS range, then I'll pull the overtake. Oh, go defensive, go defensive, go defensive. Then I'll pull the overtake. In fact, I'll pull the overtake here and then back him up if I can. Force him offline a bit. Alright, he's got the straight line speed on me. Fair enough, suit yourself. Come on, Pierre. Try my best, tip out. Come get him. Oh, I nearly went then. I've sent it, Pierre. Come get him.
Nice
Come get him. Do me best here, pal. Come and get him.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 1.
There you go. He's in DRS range to Sergio Perez. Come and get him, Pierre. P2 is yours if you want it. I'm under no threat now, really. This has been the luckiest Grand Prix. If we were unlucky in Singapore, with a relatively new gearbox pooping the bed on us, then that luck has returned itself here in Japan. Get him, Pierre. Get him. P1 and 2, please, for Chesnoid Racing. I don't know if we've done that yet, have we? Don't know if we've done a 1-2. We've done a 2-3 and a 3-4. I don't know if we've done a 1-2. We might have done a 1-3 as well. Now, where are the Mercedeses after they've pit? George is 9th after his second pit, so George will probably recover a bit. But Lewis is 16th. I'll lead the championship after today. Thank you very much. Purple Sector 1 as well. Let's go for a fastest lap, shall we? Try and ensure that George doesn't take it from us and get an extra point. Get him, Pierre. 6/10. Purple Sector 1, Purple Sector 2. Oh, personal best Sector 3, fastest lap. We've moved the goalpost significantly. Hopefully no one takes that. No one should unless they get damaged and do a late pit stop for a front wing change or something in a set of soft tyres. That should be ours to the end now. Now I'm just relying on Pierre Gasly to do his job. Everyone in the YouTube comments section, Pierre, wants you to stay. Prove why they're right and I'm wrong. On his fresh tyres, George could probably make it to P4, to be honest. He's definitely got the pace to do it. Lewis is just stuck. Well and truly stuck. Come on, Pierre. It's 3 bloody tenths, pal. Get it done. Come on, Pierre. Just get past him. He gets really close through the first sector. But it's not the place to be close. It needs to be close down to 130R into the chicane, and he's just not. Could maybe try and make a move into the hairpin, but it's 2.5 tenths back now. He gets a poorer run out of the second Degner, same as me. And Checo's just got the edge on him.
Okay to use your overtake button.
Go on, Pierre. Go on, Pierre. Pierre Gasly! P2! No! Sergio Perez! Pierre Gasly! P2! No! Sergio Perez! Oh my god, come on, Pierre! Get it done! Around the outside at 130R. Go on, mate! Oh! Up the inside of the chicane. Go on, mate! But then Perez just holds it around the outside. Has he got the switch? He might have a switchback. With DRS, he could maybe get him into turn 1. Go on, Pierre! And before he takes the position, and then DNFs. Just like he did in Miami. Get him down the straight. Get him down the straight.
0.3 seconds.
Oh, Pierre, please. I beg of you. Finish second. Here's P2 again. And he's going to keep it. I think he's going to keep it. Yes, Pierre! Chesnoid Racing 1 and 2. Gap him, gap him, gap him, gap him. Oh, it may have taken a bit longer than we anticipated. And Sergio's not great through Sector 1 either. So Pierre could really open the gap up. It's later than we anticipated, but the tactic of backing Sergio Perez up into Pierre Gasly. I've been getting their names mixed up. Something chronic today, haven't I? Tactic of backing Pierre up into Gasly. Oh my God! Perez up into Gasly. Am I having a stroke today? Has worked, and he's gapped him. Through Sector 1, he's opened it up by a second. Provided nothing chaotic happens between now and the end, Chesnoid Racing 1 and 2. Oh, he's nearly a second and a half now. Pierre, I love you. Pierre Gasly is fighting for his seat, and at the minute, quite frankly, he's going to keep it. If Pierre can perform like this for a whole season, then the Constructors' Championship is very much a possibility next season. So as we start our final lap here in Japan, it's been the most fortunate Grand Prix we've had for a very long time. Not only with us getting the win, but with Pierre finishing P2. George, unfortunately, has worked his way back up to 4th, which is a shame, because we hoped that he'd absolutely ballsed it. Unfortunately, he hadn't. Lewis, however, has just gotten stuck in traffic. So I don't believe Lewis is going to score any points today. George is going to get some good points, 10 points for P4, but he's gonna fall behind me by another 16. So the gap to George is going to be 18, and the gap to Lewis is going to be similar, I think, because he had a 5-point gap on me, didn't he? So the gap to Lewis might be 21, and the gap to Lewis might be 18. So despite the DNF in Singapore, it is very, very lucky, and ultimately probably a bit of a game bug, that the two Mercedes pit when they did. But we've had some BS things happen to us, so sometimes you're happy to take the wins because you have to stomach the losses. And I'm quite happy to take this win, thankfully. Pierre was eventually able to get past Perez. I have managed to get their names in the correct order at the right time, and he's gapped him by nearly 9 seconds. But P1 for the cheese of Chesnoid Racing.
That's just fantastic.
And that's going to be us back top of the standings. And I think for the first time ever, as Alex Albon gets driver of the day, GG sir, I think it's the first time we've had a 1-2. I'd have to double check the standings over the course of the season, but I'm pretty sure that's the first time we've had a 1-2. So that's going to be wonderful for us in the standings. We'll have a look at it here whilst they're waffling on. So 16 points to Russell, 21 to Hamilton, and in the Constructors, we've halved the gap. It's 58 points now to Mercedes. It was nearly, if not over, 100. So all it takes is 1 or 2 more of those in the final 6 races of the season, and we might be in for the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship this year. It's going to have to be a hell of a performance in rounds 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 and 23. But as we head to Qatar, there is the potential for it. Let's do the chassis. Can I do anything? I can't do anything for my driver, unfortunately. We'll do the aero team building, because we have some aero stuff in development right now, I believe. We do indeed, and I want that to pass on the brake ducts. So as we advance towards Qatar, I can't remember when we got the regulation changes last season. It was around Qatar, I think, as we head to Qatar, we might well find out about them. I'm not sure. We've got 4,129 resource points, though. And one of the upgrades has gone on the car. Now, one imagines that Qatar is going to be dry every session, being where it is globally. Are we going to get any regulation changes now? No. And it is dry. And it is a sprint weekend as well. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of action here at Qatar. With the R&D, we've edged away, and actually Mercedes have levelled off and been caught a little bit by Aston Martin and McLaren. Ferrari recovering slightly. Williams have just decided to go and catch up with Ferrari as well. Big improvement from Williams from Japan to Qatar. All right. I'm still going to hold off for those resource points because I want to make sure that we're prepared for Season 3. But at the minute, we're top of the drivers. Pierre is now P5 in the drivers as well and closing in on Max Verstappen. Should get him by the end of the season. And we are closing on Mercedes. But I'm going to need Pierre's help to get there. We have not had a 1-2 so far this season. We have. In Austria... Oh, no, that's Yuki. Sorry, my bad. We have not had a 1-2. Pierre's finished second when I finished third. He's finished third when I finished first. We've had a 2-3, a 3-2, a 1-3, and now finally a 1-2. So, GG's, Pierre. Keep that up, pal, for the rest of the season, and we'll certainly be keeping you next year. And it will help us save money as well, to be fair, because his contract is going to be significantly less than Charles Leclerc, and a decent enough portion less than Ayrton Senna as well. So, couldn't really be happier with that, could we, really? 1 and 2 for the team. Lewis Hamilton out of the points. Big thumbs up from me. Hopefully you guys have dropped a like on the video as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more. Come and join me on stream too, so that you can see these live. As you see this, as it goes live on YouTube, I will be live again tonight, this afternoon, from 4 o'clock-ish. Would have been live earlier in the day with FIFA. We'll be live now as you come to me. As you see this as it goes live for this Qatar weekend. So do come across and join me. But that's all for this YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Appreciate the support as ever. Thumbs up, subscribe, join me on Twitch. I'll see you later. Cambridge trying to score and failing to do so at the minute. It's not a foul, ref. Oh! George Thomas close. I'll see you next time.